the staff around our school many folks have been trying personalized learning and doing different activities and sharing what they know. That's the other piece that's really important, is sharing, being able to go and observe in each other's classrooms and see how this works. Because you can talk about it, you can read about it in a book, or you can read about it online, but until you actually see how this class actually does this in real life, for me, that's the kind of person I am. I need to see it, and I've been able to go into other classrooms in our school and see what personalized learning looks like and how it could work in my room. I went into her classroom, she taught a third grade classroom, and I thought, I don't know what I'm gonna take back from here because I teach kindergartners, but I know I'm gonna get something good. And so I went there and I observed for 3 hours, so it wasn't just a quick blip of time, and I got to see how effective personalized learning can be from everybody, from your lowest student all the way to your highest student. And so seeing that and hearing of their how they're doing on their scores with their test scores and their reading scores and their math scores, and hearing how great the results are, then I was sold. I'm like, I'm going to do that in my classroom. I was concerned because as a primary teacher, one of the biggest things I think primary teachers have the hard time is teaching those young learners to be independent is a big struggle for primary teachers. You have to really work on teaching them the behaviors, modeling the behaviors you want them to see, to be able to display, how to work independently. Many of our children come to school not ready to be independent learners. And so I think that's a big roadblock for many primary teachers, is that, I can't just say, here's the project, go work on it. Here's your target, here's your standard, go work on this. Here's an iPad, or here's the game or whatever, go do that. Because it takes a lot of groundwork to get your primary kids to be able to go and do that, especially with working with partners and working with other kids. Once I've done that work, then the fruit of my labor has been what I have now, which is phenomenal. It provides me time to work individually and in small groups without interruption. And people say, oh, I don't believe that works, or it's been done. And I say, come to my classroom and see, because they really are. They work for an hour independently, as I've trained them to do, and cooperatively, while I facilitate and work in small groups and with individuals. So I've had 4 teachers come in and observe me this year, and particularly because they say, well, how does this work? You don't tell them what to do, you don't time it, you don't say, okay, the time's up, now you have to go to this station. You just hand them this playlist and say, go to work. And I say, yeah, for an hour, 5-year-olds, yeah. And they can't believe it. But if you look at my scores, they're like, wow. My kindergartners are all above average or well above average. My peers say things like, this is stuff that we're already doing, and I agree. As a primary teacher, some of the things are similar to what we were already doing. We were doing station rotations in primary. However, things are different in that you are putting the student in charge of their learning. Some children, even as young as 5, know that they learn best sitting by themselves practicing their words. Some children know that they learn best sitting with a partner practicing those words. And some kids really would like to use the technology to learn their words. And so children, even at 5 years old, already know their way of learning and what best suits them. And so we put them in the driver's seat, and they take on the challenge of figuring out the best way for them to learn the things that we're trying to teach them. I've always felt like if what you're doing is not working, then you need to change something up. You need to do something different, because we're here for kids, and we got to make this work for everybody. Using data to drive your instruction and all your decisions basically is to me a sound practice. That, again, a lot of people say, well, we've been doing that. Well, now what do you do when it's not working? That's the other switch. Mind change is, okay, so it's not working for everybody, which we know you always have somebody it's not working for. What needs to happen now? What can you do to help this student? Because all children can learn, and on different timelines, different schedules, with different materials, but all kids learn.